A surge in energy prices feeds inflation. On Tuesday, oil prices climbed to a new high, passing $113 a barrel, and the government has reported that prices at the wholesale level jumped at least 1.1% in March. When the economy slows down, the resulting drop in demand normally takes some of the pressure off inflation. But these are anything but normal times. Even as the economy is slumping, oil prices are rising and food prices are jumping. People must realize that the economy is connected to the Iraq-Afghanistan war, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, all this could spell more trouble for consumers in the coming months. Prices are going up way too rapidly. Food and energy prices tend to move up and down more quickly than other goods, but lately they've only been moving in one direction, and that's up. In the last 3 months, gasoline prices were up by 1/3, and food prices were up at least 10%. Analysis take some comfort in the fact that the so-called core inflation rate has, well, so far, remained in check, more or less. And the hope is, well, they will, is that higher food and energy prices haven't yet spilled over into the prices of other goods. Yes, it will happen. There are multiple causes to the current rise in prices. A falling dollar increases the cost of the steady stream of imported consumer goods made overseas, like in China. As the dollar falls, it takes more of them to buy goods priced in stronger currencies. Developing economies around the world are bringing increased demand for raw materials. Ever more people wanting ever more things. Rapid expansion of ethanol production in the U.S. has diverted supplies of corn from grocery stores to gasoline pumps. That doesn't make much sense. Underlying all of these is the rising cost of energy. According to Stuart Hoffman, chief economist at PNC Financial Services Group. But a lot of this gets right back to oil at $113 a barrel and rising. That to me is just reverberating through the inflation pipeline, and not just in the U.S., he said. We're seeing global problems on inflation, particularly on the food front in countries where their subsistence level income doesn't give them any room for leeway. At least 800 million people in the world live on less than $2 a day. And many more, well, they don't make much more than that. On Tuesday, Indonesia became the latest country to clamp down on food shipments out of the country to try to maintain supplies. Rapidly rising global prices prompted more farmers to sell their crops at export prices that are nearly double local rates. The list of other countries that have placed more restrictions on food exports in order to secure supplies and limit inflation includes Russia, Vietnam, India, Cambodia, and Argentina. And the latter is the world's 4th largest wheat exporter. In Bangladesh, economists estimate 30 million of the country's 150 million people could be going hungry very soon. And Haiti's prime minister was ousted over the weekend following more food riots there. For now, U.S. households spend a smaller part of their budgets on food than in any other country, approximately 7.2% in 2006, according to the USDA. But food costs in the U.S. are rising faster than they have in 17 years. Eggs cost 25% more in February than they did a year ago, according to the USDA. Milk and other dairy products jumped 13%. Chicken and other types of meat nearly 7%. It is starting to eat into a lot of people's budgets. And we're beginning to see it already in the retail sales numbers. All of this leaves policymakers at the Federal Reserve between a rock and a very hard place. After the housing slump and mortgage meltdown threw sand in the gears of the credit markets last summer, the Fed began flooding the financial system with money to supposedly get things moving again. But it's not going to work. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan is connected with the economy. People must understand that. There are a lot of bad things that are coming together when it comes to inflation, but not a lot of them can be affected by Fed policy. What can the Fed do? What is the Fed going to do? Drive the world into worldwide recession so the world stops eating? For the time being, the best central bankers can do is signal that the rate-cutting days are very numbered. After slashing short-term rates in half over the past 9 months, many economists expect the next move to be a relatively modest quarter point cut. Well, there's not much left to cut, is it? It's already down to 2.25%. Or down to 2.25%. There's nothing much left to cut. Anyway, this is all connected to something much bigger. A perfect storm is brewing around the world. Too many people wanting too many things with finite resources which are rapidly going away. Yes, a worldwide recession is in the works. And there's more things to come. Like it or not, there should be another sign of the last days, end times, whatever have you call it. Well, it's not really the end of time. Well, the end. It's not really the end. God is coming back. It's going to be a new world. Just like the Holy Bible says. This is another sign.